Sorry, what'd you say, Zalo?
I just muted it.
Okay. I think the recording mics are still in it.
The recording mics are up?
I think that's in there somewhere. Might be on the other layer. I don't know.
No.
So
They're not on this.
yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I know that that's them.
The recording mics aren't on for this. Unless if they're direct out to the distributed audio.
7 minutes or so, somewhere to put this in from power to it. We can have a second shot. We have this far to go.
All right.
But
It's got me to the computer or
to that thing. I don't know if we're gonna be able to make that happen. Yep. All right. So. All right, brass players, come on, sit down in the front. If you sign in, if you would, and then just kind of have a seat. Yep, anywhere, if you're a brass player, anywhere here. If you're a woodwind player, just in the house until we know how many brass players are going to be here. Like we could even grab a music stand.
Oh, wait.
Or we could wrap it around the leg of that other tripod. And then just need to run power to it. Hi.
Hi.
Keegan, will you plug this in back there? I'll kind of swing it your way.
Hi, I would stay, but I have softball.
Got it.
So.
The ball of soft is killing me.
Of course, I know.
But it's okay, I totally understand.
I will see you later.
Hey, have fun. Oh, shoot, not that one.
I mean, like, if anyone would, it's just because like, we can end this way. Because I have a test in November.
Yeah, so if we can... That's actually kind of a cool shot. Yep. Yes, you can take whatever you need. It's kind of a secondary shot, and then...
So you want this one to be the wide?
Yeah, because this doesn't do close very well.
What is it going to be set to?
Do we have it? Alright, we may have to go here first, and then I may have to come back and tinker. Check all my connections. All right, you pretty much ready? Signed in, friends. All right, so let's reorganize before he takes me live on the live stream. Yes. All right, so let's shift so you're kind of centered. So horns, let's kind of put you in the middle here. Low brass, let's shift you to be kind of centered behind. Give about 2 more minutes before we clear this with everybody. We're going to play rather than being shunned to the audience. If you want to kind of fill in on either side, that's totally cool. All right, you can go ahead and you can switch over. And thanks for coming out. Big thank you to your 7th hour teacher because they didn't have to allow this. This was not required of them. So I'm going to get out of the way and let the man, myth, and legend, Ridenour, take over. Today is all about making you sound better as a brass player. So how you're creating your sound, what it is that you're doing, articulating all those things. If at any point, this is supposed to be sort of acoustic, if you will, if at any point you were like, cool, so I really suck at double tonguing, make me better at double tonguing. Just interrupt, just throw me up, and Brandon will kind of bounce off those ideas and kind of expound on that. He'll have you try things. I would encourage you to try anything he says. He asks you to stand in your head and cluck like a chicken. If he thinks that's going to make you a better brass player, I'm selling out. I'm going to stand on my head and cluck like a chicken. So, without further ado, let's give him a round of applause.
Just so we can laugh at that.
Absolutely.
And it'll make us relax, so let's do it. No, let's not do it. But, so, are we all, what, 9th grade? 9th grade, 10th grade? 11th grade? 12th grade? Second time 12th grade? Third time 12th grade? No? That's good. It's a good school. Sound production. We all play instruments that require breathing easily. Some of these instruments enable a more easy breath than others here. Why do you suppose maybe it's easier to breathe relaxed if you play the tuba versus the trumpet or French horn? You know? Right. I mean, you just look at the mouthpiece alone. Our mouthpieces are much smaller, and there's a word for that. It's restriction. There's a lot more restriction. There's a lot more back pressure that goes into playing this. We might not even use all of our breath to play a phrase, whereas most of the time, you're probably wishing you had another set of lungs. You hold a beat for 4 notes and you're done, depending on the tempo. And versus us, we can go for much longer. So, but I would say that the key to having good basic sound production comes from having a good, healthy breath and being able to connect to your instrument as though it's a part of your body. So everybody just hold on to your instrument If you are already, just hold on to it a little better. Let's see. Now, hold on to your instrument as though you might play it, but you're not. It's not up to your face or anything. All right, now bring it a little closer to your face. Don't play it. Raise your hand if you feel a little more tense right now than what you did when your instrument was down here. Raise your hand if you feel a little more uptight, or just like notice your body, notice your breath, just by having your instrument there. For everyone, pretty much, except maybe the tubas, of course. No offense, there are going to be a lot more tuba jokes to come. Don't take offense to any of them. Why? Why does just the simple act of, uh-oh, here it comes. Uh-oh, oh shoot. Why would that, why? Why does that make us breathe different or more tense? Yeah? Because you're opening up your airways? Because of the different posture? Yeah, what else? Anybody want to add anything to this? Yeah. Right. Remembering that last note that you played that sounded like shit. And you're like, oh, I don't want that to sound, oh, crap. No, not again. Fear, maybe. It's like, oh, am I going to sound good or bad? I don't know what's going to come out the other end. Sorry for swearing. I forgot. Most of your teachers don't do that. It's all good. We're live. You can bleep it out later, right? Apologies. Okay. Did anybody else want to add anything to why does this make us breathe different? Just like putting the horn up. Did we cover it all? Yeah. Okay. So, a little bit of posture change, maybe some fear, like we don't know. Okay, that means that we're about to do something to this instrument. We're about to let our air through it and hopefully make a beautiful sound. So, I want you to, again, now that we're aware of that, instead of just going through this like, oh, now I feel different now. I want you to do it slowly. So just have your instrument in your lap, down, not in playing position. But I just want you to notice your breath right now. Just take in a nice easy breath like you normally would. And it should be easy, because you guys have been breathing probably almost your whole lives. You're pretty good at it by now. So now, without changing anything at all, just hold on to your instrument and keep breathing totally normally. And pretend like your left hand or whatever hands you use to bring your instrument up, it's like somebody else is doing it, right? So just slowly bring your instrument up to playing position, very slowly, but keep breathing, as though you've been doing it your whole life. And I just want you to take in a breath and let air through the instrument. No note, but just let air. And just do that again. One more, and notice how easy it is to exhale through your instrument. Good. Now, when I play, I try to think about that. Okay, first of all, this is just an extension of my body. I'm connected to it now. And the longer you spend with your instrument, the more it starts to feel that way. And you could say that about anything. You guys probably all play sports or have played sports at some time. The first time you ever played basketball, you probably weren't LeBron James. Probably still nobody here is quite at LeBron James's level. But the more time you spend with a basketball and shooting hoops, the better you're going to get at it. The more like that ball is going to feel like an extension of your body. You just become familiar with the bounce of the ball and how gravity works and your own body and the sport. Same goes for this. The more we hold on to it, the more we just have it here, the more time we spend just breathing with our instrument and through our instrument, the better our sound's going to be, the better we're going to be at that instrument. It's just spending quality time with it and not forming bad habits. And even and that's sort of like the first bad habit that I wanted to experiment with you guys is how does this feel any different from that, right? We don't want it to feel that different. So I want to breathe through my instrument as easily as it is for me to breathe in real life. And it just takes time. So I know that if I'm breathing easy and I'm connected in a positive way with my instrument, I want to make a sound that I'm pleased with on the other end, a sound where I know what's going to happen on the other end because I've spent enough time breathing and being with my instrument. So we'll just speak in concert pitch for now, but can everybody I want you to take a nice easy breath, and we're going to go air on the first one, and then we're going to take another breath and then play a concert F. And all it means is that your lips are a little bit closer together so the vibration happens so that F comes out. But I want it to be as easy as it is to breathe. All right? So everybody, horns up, and a nice easy breath through the instrument. And now an F. Sounds pretty good. Let's do that once more. Just a breath first, and then the note. Now we're going to play a B flat below that. Concert B flat below. 2. Ready. Now I want you to just breathe air through the instrument as though you're breathing a low B flat, but no sound, just the air sound. And then we're going to play the low B flat again. And now the low B flat. Nice low B flat. Now take another breath. Air sound as though you're playing the F above that, and then we're going to play the F above that. Ready? Air sound. Now the F. Breathe out air as though you're playing a B flat above that. Ready? All right, cool. So point being is that we want to, there are a lot of things happening here with sound production, and that is a big part of the battle is hearing that pitch spot on and then knowing exactly what you have to do with your lips in your air to play right down the center of that note. Not just like approximately where that note fits partially. There's still a lot of variable within that note. We want to land right on it. So when I'm just blowing air through the instrument, when I say blow air as though you're going to play an F, I know where that F is. Or B flat below that. Or above that. It's just a matter of those lips coming a little bit closer together for the note to actually sound. But has anybody ever practiced this way before? Cool. it's not like a popular way to practice, but we're breaking it down, and I wish that I had thought of this when I was younger as well, as far as how to really get into the sound of the notes. But does anybody have any questions so far before I go on to this next thing? Okay, so you guys are sounding great already, nailing these 3 notes. I know it's super complicated stuff. But okay, let's do a little bit of breathing. Everybody just take in a breath, but don't breathe it out. And hold it. And now sip the air a little more, and a little more, and a little more. And now let it out. And push all the air out. Keep pushing the air out. And push all the air out. And now breathe in. And sip the air, sip the air, sip the air, sip the air, sip the air. And let it out. And push out all the air. Find more air to push out. There's always a little bit more, unless you're dead. And a little more. And now breathe in. And sip the air. 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 And let it out. And don't breathe in yet. Keep pushing out all the air. And now take in the biggest breath you've ever taken. And let it out. Cool. All right. So this like kind of tension that we feel on both sides happens when we're playing, especially like when we're performing. I always feel it more when I'm performing. Because like your breathing is like the first thing to go when you get a little nervous and you're in front of people. So when you practice being at those extremes of, oh God, my lungs are way too full right now, or I desperately need air, you're like, it's like extreme training of anything. Or it's like, you know, being a marathon runner, but training in the Rockies under those extreme conditions. You're really pushing your body in both directions. The other thing to be aware of as brass players is pacing of our air as well. So I want everybody to, over 4 counts, I'm gonna change the counts. Think about pacing your air now that you know where that is, where your maximum is, and your minimum is. You felt that. Now I want you to, like an accordion, very slowly let that air in, and then very slowly push that air out. Okay? So that means you're gonna have to provide resistance here in order to do that appropriately. So everybody, let go of all of your air to start. And we're gonna go 4 in and 4 out. 2, ready, and in, and out. Now 6 counts in. Eight counts. Nine counts. 7 counts. 7. 5 counts. 3 counts. 2 counts. 4 air. 1. Okay, good. Is anybody lightheaded? I hope. All right. If you're lightheaded, great. If you're not, you did it wrong. You did it totally wrong. I'm sorry. No, you just got to push yourself more. I see a lot of shallow breathers. And I'm not going to embarrass you because I don't know all your names. But I see a lot of, and I know right away how you sound on your instrument. You're going to have a small sound, like guaranteed. If you want to, be loud and proud, it's all because of the breath behind it, and also the relationship with knowing how to let it go through your instrument. So let's go back to some playing. Everybody, I want you to take in from minimum to maximum, and then let out just a low B flat. Ready? Let go of all of your air first, and breathe in. Now an F above that, 2, ready. B flat above that. Now I want you to do this. Just a slur down, 2, ready? Everybody sing that, same thing, ready? Now play it. Now do the opposite. We're going to go. No tonguing, just slurs. Ready? Now sing it. Let's play it. Put 2 and 2 together. Now I want to go down chromatically, starting on an A. Ready? Other note besides A that we're playing, concert pitch? A and an E, all right? For most of us, it shouldn't require any valve changing or slide changing at all. Ready? Now starting on an A flat, down chromatically. Ready? Hear just the trumpets. Cool, trombones. Tubas. And the horns. The horn's tricky because you have a few more partials in between things than others. But these lip slur exercises are probably some of the first things that I do when I warm up to just get my sound produced and going and like kind of back to normal. It's not like playing the piano or a percussion instrument. Playing an instrument of wind, I find like I can never just pick up the trumpet and play it right away and sound like I want to. It always feels not so great at the beginning. So you have to like warm up your lip blood, get the air going again. And it takes a few minutes, at least for me still, after all these years, to sound like something again. But that's how I get there. I get there by doing just simple lip slur exercises where I'm not changing the vowels, but I will in between each rendition. So I will start with the lowest first, and then gradually, as I get more and more warmed up, I'll add another partial, I'll add another partial. And through this sort of natural trumpet playing or trombone or whatever instrument you play, not relying on the valves, you get to know your instrument very quickly. And also the harmonic series. Granted, we would never play, so when we get down to from here, we would never play any of those notes with that fingering, but they still work because of the harmonic series, which is just a bit of science. Can anybody explain what this means? What this series means?
Because of the harmonic series, it's just the amount of pictures you can get with one length of the partials of the instrument. They get closer together.
Right. The partials, the notes get closer and closer as we blow higher and higher into this series. So in our case, what interval is that when we're talking at the bottom of this series? It's a fifth, right. And actually, if I had a natural trumpet with me, that is just a trumpet without any valves, a low, a C or B flat would come out. That's the fundamental pitch of the harmonic series. So the first leap is 1 octave, and then the next leap is a fifth. Unfortunately, on our trumpets, that low pedal B flat doesn't actually resonate. It doesn't slot just because of the way this is wound. But on a natural trumpet, which just has 2 curves to it, and that's it, doesn't have anything else to go through and curve and bend through, that low B flat does slot, or whatever key your natural trumpet is in. Anyway, so yeah, we have a fifth, and then, what's that interval? A fourth? Exactly. Next one. A third, and then a minor third, not quite a second. What's that? It's still closer to a minor third. It's a really fat, flat minor third. And then, what is that? Now we're at a second. We're at a major second. And then we have a bunch of major seconds that just get closer, slightly closer, and slightly closer to each other. Those are all major seconds. It's not until we get really high that we start having half steps where everything is just kind of smeared together. Anyway, that's how your instruments work. It's just like, this is just a thing of physics that guys a long time ago got bored. They decided to start making stuff, and then things started to evolve, and they added these valves so you could get all the in-between notes and this and that, and then people started to get really good at that. Humans are weird. Yeah, question? Yeah, that's why playing the horn is difficult. People say it's one of the more difficult instruments because you have a much greater possibility of missing the note because most of your notes are closer together, and you're playing in that range where your notes are closer together. So yeah, because your tubing is so long, it enables you to play much lower. The horn has actually a sort of, in a way, a bigger playing range of real notes that you can play. But typically where you guys are playing register-wise, your notes are closer together on average than ours, than trumpets and trombones. It's less likely that we will miss the note. We have bigger targets than you guys. Not to mention the way that instrument is wound, the French horn, that they actually have the smallest mouthpiece. It might be deeper, but the diameter of the mouthpiece is definitely the smallest on the horns. So it's just like, you guys have to be the best dart players in the whole band. Sorry, but if you guys are good at darts, then you're probably good at the horn. Or like, I don't know, golf. Anyway, does anybody have any questions? I sort of rambled for a bit, but your questions can help lead us. Things that you want to get better at, sound-wise, tonguing. We don't have to spend the whole time on sound, but happy to try to remedy any concerns you might have or things you want to get better at. Anyone? Otherwise, you're just going to have to listen to me ramble. Multiple tonguing. Popular question. Well, most of us only have one tongue. So the idea of multiple tonguing is just like a weird kind of Dali-inspired image to me. So we need to elude, when we play our instrument, that how is that he or she doing that? Does he have more than one tongue in there? It's just a matter of getting your non-t sound to be as strong and reliable and percussive as your t sound. So I would practice my multiple tonguing away from the instrument. Just you can think tucka tucka or dugga dugga. I guess I like dugga dugga a little better because it's deeper if you're using your voice. But when it comes down to it, I'm going tucka tucka ta. When it comes down to it, it's a T and a K sound. It's not until our voice enters that it sounds like a D and a G. So I would practice, like, it's hard to think. I mean, when I was in high school is when I was starting to figure out how to multiple tongue. I would, for instance, go. I would just say, instead of tonguing my scales, I would tongue them all with a k, 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 and try to get that to be as strong as my t, t, t. And you can tell, it's a little delayed. I haven't practiced this in a long time. But why don't we all try... we all know our B-flat scale. So let's try tonguing on a k syllable on a B-flat scale at about that tempo. You're going to find you have to put a lot more breath in order to have the impact of the front of the note with the k. 2, 3. All right, now I'm going to just speed teach. Now I want you to go ta ta ka ta ka ta ka ta ta ka ta ka ta ka ta. I'm alternating now. 2, 3. Yeah, so just slow practice, but still practice that's metronomic with the tongue. So you could do it on a scale. You could tongue each note twice. You could just work on one note. There's another mode of practicing this. Say you go just on an F. You go once, normal tonguing, and then once, all K's, and then you alternate. Trying to really listen and make sure each note kind of sounds the same, so that when you speed it up, it really does sound the same. Let's try that. We'll go ta 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 tam on a T, and then ga 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 gum, and then da ga da ga da ga da ga da, alternating. All right. 1, 2, 3, and on an F. Now alternating. And then you take that metronome. These are good things to practice with the metronome. You bump it up a few jams, and then so you get to the point where happens. You have an equal amount of power with both the T and the K. What's the other multiple tonguing that we have? Our only other one, triple tonguing, right? So I think ta-da-ka, 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 ta-da-ka. Are any of you in the Carnival of Venice? Cool. Yes. Good question. In the band that is playing Carnival of Venice with me. Right. So there's some triple tonguing in that. There's no double tonguing in it, but there's the there's that little bit, which is all da-da-ga, 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 and it's like one of those things that sounds a lot harder than what it is. All I'm going is I just have to pull the valve away. I'm going down, I'm playing the outline of the melody, but then I'm telling my tongue, just keep doing the same thing, tongue. And I'm always retreating back to the open note, right? Doesn't sound very good slow. So we all have certain little tricks and valve combos that are much easier to play on brass. String players love playing in sharp keys. We tend to love flat keys because the fingerings are much easier in E flat major and B flat major. But anyway, triple tonguing. Everybody say da da ga da da ga da. Da da ga da da ga da da ga da. Da da ga da da ga da da ga da da ga da. Da da ga da da ga da da ga da da ga da. Right. Da da ga da da ga da da ga da da ga da. That's it. You guys got it. That's all you got to do. Again, slow practice, same philosophy. Practice, start out on one note. That's going to feel real awkward and uncoordinated at first, but just think, take the instrument away, bring it back. The key is that your tongue is very forward in the action of what's happening. If I think of my tongue being too far back or too relaxed in my mouth, it's not going to happen. I'm thinking very forward placement. And then it brings focus and clarity to those notes. Yeah?
Is that just like where it's around the cup on the back side of the tongue? Where
Right.
in your mouth is that?
Probably the same place as when you guys spat it back to me. It's in the back. Yeah. Where the ka is? Yeah. I mean, it's where if you just say ka, yeah, there's no secret. I'm not putting it in any different place than what you would. It's just a matter of getting used to the coordination of it and practicing it a little, practice it every day for a week and you'll probably be able to do it. I mean, maybe not at a super fast tempo, who knows? Depends on how devoted you are to like having your eye on the prize. Anyway, multiple tonguing. Any other questions? Also, I don't have my timer on me, so I don't know.
About 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay, yeah. There's a clock. All right, so we're going to about 3?
Yeah.
Sounds good, yeah. High range. All right, so again, physics. If you've ever annoyed somebody at a birthday party with a balloon, you take the end of the balloon, and if you don't, I'm going to tell you how. You take the end of the balloon, and what happens when you take the end of it and you spread it further and further apart? What happens to the noise the balloon makes? It goes higher and sounds squealy and ridiculous and annoying. And as you stretch it more and more, it should go higher and higher. If you take that balloon and you don't do anything to the end and you just push all the air out, it's lower. And as a result, it loses its air much faster because there's a larger hole for the air to escape. For the high notes, very tiny, tiny hole for the air to go through. It's the same thing here. It's just a matter of getting used to the feeling of that, of stretching, thinking of that aperture is just stretching, and then all the power from those high notes, if you're playing loud high notes, comes from here. It does not come from the face or the neck or the shoulders or the butt, maybe a little bit from the butt. It depends on your philosophy, where you went to school. But it all really comes from here, high notes, unless you want to hurt yourself. So that's what I think. Also having a good seal, that is, no air leakage, and you're in your mouthpiece comfortably. The way I practice high notes is not by trying to play loud high notes, but trying to be sure that I am in the center of where it resonates, where that note resonates most, which I would say is my philosophy just for sound, coming back to sound again. If you want to play high notes, figure out just where that note sits on your instrument. And then from there, you learn how to blow through and play that note. Again, it can be said about every single note on your instrument. You might think that you know how to play a concert B flat, because it's a very popular note. But do you know exactly where that note sounds best on your instrument? So, the place that it sounds best and resonates the most will be the most beautiful part of the sound, and it'll also be the place where you can play the loudest on that note, instead of just blowing your brains out. But it takes listening to that pitch, knowing where that pitch is, and then feeling it within your instrument, and having good air support behind it. For high notes, all I'm thinking is stretching. I'm pretty tight and strong here when I'm playing high, and that's that. That's how you play high notes. It's easy, right? Again, it just takes undoing what you think. Whenever you see a trumpet player like go for a high note, you think that they might die or they might not. Their face turns bright red. That's how you play high notes. It is one way, but you're not going to be able to play high notes for very long before you hurt yourself. That's what I do, and it reminded me of going back to sound production. Everybody, can you just play a B flat for me once, so we get the feeling of that? The higher B flat, not super high, just mid high. Ready? Now, good. Now I want you to do this. And when we come back to that B flat, sorry, I was underwater. I want you to land on that note where you hear and feel that buzziness. They're called overtones. So check it out. When I go out of focus, you're not going to hear the overtones, but when I come back in, you're going to hear them, hopefully. I can do it on any note. I'm not necessarily playing super loud, but there's a point where all of a sudden the note sizzles. And it's just because you're hearing resultant high overtone pitches as well. So that's the center of the note, and we want to discover on each of our instruments where the sweet spot is of each of these notes. So let's do that pitch bend together on a high B flat. Ready? Now the same thing on an F below it. Ready? Now pick on a B flat below that, right? Yeah, you'll find that when you do find that spot where you're hearing overtones in your sound, that's how you play loud, and that's how you develop your sound as well. Now, granted, you don't want to play loud all the time. That can just be burdensome for your band director and others in front of you, or behind you if you're a horn player. Sorry. So anyway, pitch bends, that's another thing that I did actually a lot more when I was in high school and college to really find my sound and to get my ear in tune with that's exactly where that pitch needs to be, and my ear in tune with what my body needed to do to really find where these notes land. Yeah?
One final question, we have about 3 minutes left. If you had an hour of practice, about percentage-wise, how much would you devote to just formal technical study, and how much would you devote to repertoire preparation?
Yeah, that's a good question. It does change for me, but I would say about half and half. I do a lot of technical things. As I said, I'll work on my sound and lip slurs first. I do a lot of scales and patterns within scales, playing through all the keys, especially the hard ones. Play in B major. If you're finding like if you've aced your C scale, do a B major, do F sharp major, do A flat minor, do something obscure just so that you don't get dull here when you're practicing as well. That's why I do a lot of scale work, so that I'm sure that my mind is very engaged in what I'm doing. And all it is actually is just like math, because you know the pattern of the way a major scale works with whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, and then minor as far as the intervals between each notes. All it is, okay, we do the same thing again, but we're starting on this note for the scale. The pattern's exactly the same. So once you get used to, oh, that's the pattern of each of these scales, you really can do all of them. It's just a matter of sitting down and learning them and spending a little bit of time. So I do a lot of that, but I'm always sure that I hit music. Never do I have a day where I'm just playing technical things, just warming up. Because we play this instrument, whatever instrument you play, to play music. So it's important to every time you play some music, make some music, dare I say, play musical, exercise the skill of what it means to be a musical player. The whole reason why we play music is to have it move us or move somebody who's listening. So figure out a way to emote through your playing. The more you're around your instrument, the more you master the instrument, the easier that becomes. Again, the more like it is, we want it to feel like we're singing, especially playing an instrument of wind. We want to have that kind of ease to it. So yeah, half and half. If I'm preparing for something coming up, I might do a little more music though. If I have a lot of music to learn, I might dive into it a little sooner. Yeah. Are we good?
So let's give Ridenour a huge round of applause. Come back with us tomorrow, 7 hours, same time, same place. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, come back work. And then I'm just gonna go up to the bus. You can go around the door.
Mm-hmm.